Bears mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll get to some super chats in a second, some other hashtag Bears questions as well. F. Marsh saying, what are your 2024 expectations for Chicago? It's at minimum, you got to be a playoff team, man. I mean, this year it wasn't necessarily playoffs or bust, so you could say, well, then why are you on the Fire Flus train? Well, because you had it right there in front of you, man. You had 3 colossal meltdowns. If you win just 2 of them, hell, even 1 of them, you're firmly in the playoff race, and you lost all 3. So next year, you got to be a playoff team. Even if you and that's why the quarterback decision is so interesting. It sucks for whichever rookie comes in if they go that route, but if you draft Caleb Williams or Drake May and you keep building this roster, I don't care if they're a rookie. To me, my expectations are being in the playoffs next year, and I think if certain things go right, you could be a team that wins a game. I really do. You're about 5 plays away from being an 8-6 football team right now, which would have you firmly as the number 6 seed, or not 8-6, 9-6. If you want all 3 of those collapses, think about that. You could be 9-6, 8-7 if you blow one of those 3 games. It's ridiculous, but. Yeah, it's playoffs. You got to be a playoff team, and I think you might, have goals of winning a playoff game. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility next year. Will the Bears make the playoffs next year? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I know it feels like they're never going to get back to being good, but there are reasons for optimism, guys. You've got the number 1 pick in your back pocket, barring Carolina winning out. You've got a ton of cap space. You've got young players that have improved a lot this year. You should be a playoff team next year. It's okay to have those expectations. Aaron Wolf, would you trade back to Atlanta for their first, second, and third this year and next year's second? So right now, the Atlanta Falcons have the 10th pick. So you trade from 1 to 10, pick up 10, their second, which would be 42? And then, their third, which would be 78, something like that. Next year's second, maybe 1 to 10 is a big drop, though. I think I got to get another first-round pick in there. I think it would have to be next year's first instead of a second. Harrison Graham's beer. Part of my decision of wanting to keep Justin Fields is because I really want Marvin Harrison. I don't think we get him if we get a QB. I hear that, and I really want MHJ as well, but if you're hell-bent on getting a receiver and you get one of MHJ Neighbors or Adunze, I'm still going to be pretty happy. I don't feel like MHJ is just – it's him and then a massive drop-off. I think there's a little bit of a drop-off. Neighbors, it doesn't have the size MHJ has. Adunze is probably slightly less explosive, but – those 3 guys, it's an impressive trio. It really is. So if you get one of those 3, I'd still be pretty happy. Paleo, Justin and Caleb follow each other on social media, so maybe Caleb is just showing Justin some support, saying Fields should be the Bears QB. So this is in reference to Caleb Williams liking a tweet where someone said he's not the answer and Justin Fields is, draft Marvin Harrison. My takeaway is I don't read too much into that type of stuff, but that's an interesting angle, Paleo. I think it's more likely Caleb Williams likes to keep receipts / he's just messing around with fans. Bright to MC, do you honestly think Caleb Williams wants to play here? He just recently hinted we should keep Fields. Again, the tweet stuff. I think Caleb Williams is going to go number 1, and he's going to play where he gets drafted. That's what I think. Sure, he may have ideal teams he should want to play for, but call me crazy, and I get the Bears' lack of quarterback history. Who picking in the top 5 or 6 is going to have a better situation to walk into next year? He has a number 1 receiver sitting right there in DJ Moore. He has a team that's got a lot of cap space. He has a team that is a pretty damn good defense that should be even better next year. Potentially another big-time receiver as well that's going to be there. If he goes to Arizona, he has none of that. If he goes to New England, he does not have good receivers. If he goes to, who else is up there? The Giants, if they move up, they don't have a guy like DJ Moore. So, I get the history, but the Bears are not a typical team drafting number 1 overall. I'll just say that. Xander Z, do you think we could get Bill? Belichick? Is that who they're talking about? Maybe. I don't want him, though, as crazy as that sounds. I don't trust him to pick the right offensive coordinator. Now, in some bizarre scenario where Ryan Poles has say on the OC and Bill Belichick doesn't have any involvement in the draft, could I maybe get behind it? Sure, but you kind of just have a poor man's version of that now, where Matt Eberflus, we know he can coach defense. We know he knows what he's doing on that side of the ball. Yes, Belichick would have better control of the overall thing than Flus does. I'm not suggesting Flus is Belichick. I'm just saying, like, there is an overlap and similarity there where it's like, yeah, the current guy you have, we know he can coach defense, but he hasn't evaluated offense good at all, Belichick, in years. There's no evidence Flus can evaluate offense. And you'd have to trust him to hire the right OC, which Belichick hasn't done in a while, and neither has Flus, who chose Luke Getsy, who has not been very good at all. So I'm not that interested in Bill Belichick. All right, Rocket Money is something not only I'm interested in, is something I'm using every single day. Personal finance app that keeps me on top of my finances. They help me cancel some unnecessary subscriptions when I first downloaded the Rocket Money app. Now I'm spending at a manageable pace every single month, which is critical because, you know, you're starting college funds for my son. My wife and I have a big-time mortgage with our house, so you really got to be careful with your spending and set those budgets, and you can do that with Rocket Money. They'll send you alerts throughout the month of if you're on track with your budget as well. You can also even negotiate to lower your bills by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money will take care of the rest for you. With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 per year and over $1 billion in total savings so far. Think about that. What could you do with an extra $720? You probably could have done all your Christmas shopping, which would have been very, very nice. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel those subscriptions that are just getting charged to your bank every single month, and they're just sitting there. You know, you probably have an old college Spotify account that you don't use anymore, etc., whatever the case may be. Download the app today, rocketmoney.com/bears now. It's rocketmoney.com/bears now. Start saving money with Rocket Money. Trust me, you're not going to regret it. Aaron Wolf, do you think it's a mistake to get rid of Eberflus unless we get Jim Harbaugh, considering how hard the team continues to play for him? No, I don't think it's a mistake. Now, is there a scenario where keeping him is it could be the right choice too? Of course there is. Like, we can't predict the future, but I mean, are players just going to stop playing hard if you change head coaches? I don't think so. Like, they're playing for contracts. Like, they're putting food on the table. Yeah, some of those defensive guys, they might want to keep Flus, and I get that, but surely they would see the big picture and be like, I mean, yeah, we like this guy. We're playing good defense, but I mean, we've also blown some games. The offense hasn't consistently gotten things going. We haven't won enough, so I'm not that concerned about that. It can't just be Jim Harbaugh or Matt Eberflus. Like, if you're thinking, hey, we'd like Jim Harbaugh, well, aren't you saying that you don't like Matt Eberflus enough? So that's kind of how I look at it. BTW, Justin Fields needs another weapon. Darnell Mooney doesn't do it. Brock Bowers, Neighbors, MHJ are the guys we need. We're not getting all three of those guys. To get in this draft, Eberflus is a good coach. Getsy's not. Get rid of him. Yeah, I mean, look, they might go the keep Flus, fire Getsy option. Now, who's Flus going to get? He's going to bring his former boss, Frank Reich, to run this offense? Maybe. It was a disaster in Carolina, but he also didn't have much to work with. So, you know, I think that could be an okay outcome. It wouldn't be my preferred outcome, but I do think Ryan Poles likes Flus. Does he like him enough to keep him? I don't know. Appreciate all the super chats. Another one here from Bright DMC. Do you think Mooney could bring us a second or third? Guys, no. I'm not even going to get – yeah, Johnny Wilson, I like him too. But number one, Mooney's a free agent. Number two, he hasn't been good enough to franchise tag him because it costs too much. And even if you did, second or third, no chance. He'd be a day 3 pick value at this point. And look, I like Darnell. He's a leader on this team. It's a shame the last couple of years haven't gone great for him, but we got to live in reality. That 1,000-yard season is 2.5 years ago. Like, he hasn't shown to be that player in recent years. And I think it's very telling. Yes, DJ Moore is a far more talented receiver. But he comes in, and from day one, him and Justin Fields have this unreal on-field chemistry. And him and Darnell Mooney, who are best friends, work out together all the time in the offseason, supposed to have this chemistry. They can't figure it out together on the field. I'd be shocked if Mooney was back next year. I really would. Subscribe. We got a busy offseason ahead for the Chicago Bears. This is the perfect time to get in. You got the last couple of weeks here. We'll have watch parties against the Falcons and the Packers. If by some miracle they make the playoffs, we'll have watch parties for that as well. And then it's full offseason mode. We're kind of already hybrid offseason mode here on Chicago Bears now. So if you want to stay up to date with everything going around this football team, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. You're not going to want to miss out. Corey Griffin bringing Urlacher or Tillman for defensive coordinator. Both have high IQs. Sure, but they also aren't coaches. Like, to my knowledge, neither has coached at the collegiate or NFL level. Maybe Urlacher or Tillman has coached the high school level, but Tillman, after he retired, became an FBI agent. I don't know if he's still doing that, but, like, I get, like, we always look toward, like, historic figures in the franchise's history, and we're like, oh, yeah, make him the coach. It's not realistic. And who's to say they even want to coach? DC Viper, what draft targets could you see fall in the first round, and who would you take? Kitchens, Mims, or King? Kitchens, I assume you're talking about the Miami safety. Kalen King is the Penn State corner. I've seen him dip a bit. He might go around 2. Getting confused on Mims, who you're talking about with Mims. Are you talking about the Georgia tackle, Adarius Mims, offensive tackle? By the way, I don't think you need a corner. I don't think you need Kalen King. A, I think Jalen Johnson will be here next year, and B, if he is, you have 4 really good corners. You have Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, and Terrell Smith, all playing good right now. So I don't think you really need a corner. You got depth behind them in Jalen Jones and Josh Blackwell. Cameron Kitchens is an interesting one if you want to go safety to replace Eddie Jackson. If you cut him, he could be a cut candidate. So perhaps he could be a guy you take late round 1, early day 2. Bearman, do you see the Chargers trading a King's ransom for the first overall pick due to their salary cap hell this offseason? I mean, what are they doing? Are they cutting Keenan Allen, cutting Khalil Mack, and drafting Marvin Harrison? I guess maybe. I don't think they have to trade up to number 1 to do that, but I do think the Chargers are going to look different next year. I think Khalil Mack is probably going to be on a new team again next year. Maybe the Bears if he gets cut. Who said that? He'd be a fun edge opposite of Montez Sweat, veteran edge rusher. But I don't think they're trading to number 1. Who you guys got on Sunday? Type CHI for the Chicago Bears or ATL for the Atlanta Falcons. I like the Bears again this week. They're favorites at home. Taylor Heineke's a little better than Desmond Ridder. He's also less mobile. Should be a team you beat. We'll see if they can get it done. Papi Chulo sits. Any 49ers coaches worth taking a look at? You know, I was talking to our 49ers host guy here at Chat Sports, Chase Sr., and I don't really think so. I mean, they have Clint Kubiak. If you go the keep Flus, hire an OC route, he could be in that role, but I don't think they have anybody worth making head coach. I know Steve Wilkes made a decent case last year to be the Panthers head coach, but, you know, Niners fans at times haven't loved him this year, so I don't think that's a guy you're going to replace Flus with. So other than Kubiak as an OC candidate, I don't think so, actually, which is kind of weird because the 49ers have pumped out some good coaches recently. Eamon Elias, do you think there's a chance in any position we bring in a guy like Lincoln Riley or Kliff Kingsbury to work with Caleb Williams? I'm not hiring Lincoln Riley as my head coach. I might hire Kliff Kingsbury as my offensive coordinator if you keep Matt Eberflus. Definitely open to that. I'd take Lincoln Riley as the OC, but I don't think he's leaving USC's head coaching post to be an NFL offensive coordinator. But I've kind of soured on the idea of Lincoln Riley as a head coach. I'm not going that route. Appreciate all the questions. If you have any more, you know where to find me, at HGramNFL on social media. Same handle on Twitter and on Instagram. It is at HGramNFL. We'll continue the discussion over there. Bear down.